I actually consider it one of the most important parts of my job to teach my students how to focus their awareness. I feel like all of us can benefit from enhanced awareness. My brand is the liberated voice. I'm very interested in Buddhist philosophy, and one of the Buddhism teachers, meditation teachers who I really admire is a guy named Shinzen Young. And he is also very interested in science. His book is The Science of Enlightenment. So he's studied a lot of the sciences to try to understand, how does focus and concentration work? How does the brain work? And he talks about how in the sciences, you have the pyramid of skills, right? At the bottom of the pyramid is the most general one, which would be, I guess, mathematics. And if you learn mathematics, then you can start learning the next thing up in the pyramid. Maybe you can want to study geometry, or maybe you want to study biology. And then once you know math and biology, maybe you want to become a biophysicist, but then you're going to have to study physics first before you get more and more and more narrow. But what Shinzen then says is that below mathematics, at the very bottom of the pyramid of all of human learning and understanding, is the skill of focus and concentration. Because if you can focus your awareness, if you can concentrate, then you can learn anything you want to. So I feel like it's an absolutely fundamental thing that when I'm working with somebody, and it could be a student of any age, it could be an avocational singer or a very, very serious professional, everybody could use support for focusing their awareness. I mean, if you look at like the brilliant elite professional, they may have trouble focusing their awareness on the skill at hand rather than focusing their awareness on, do I sound good? And so you find I would invite each of you to just notice, not necessarily even when you're practicing singing or studying something, but just in day-to-day life. When are you focused and when are you not? When are you more focused? And when you're not focused, is there something that you can do to kind of like focus back in on what you're doing? So how do I do that? Well, one of the ways that I I try to help my students improve their ability to focus their awareness is not giving them too many things to focus on at once. Just always narrowing it down, narrowing it down, narrowing it down. The layout for this course is an example of that. We are just talking about upper body alignment today. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about, right? And sometimes it can be very, very hard to focus on it. I certainly had a lot of trouble focusing on sciences and anatomy when I was a student because I wasn't good at it and I felt self-conscious, and I persuaded myself that I just wasn't interested in it. And so when it came time for me to learn anatomy, it took a lot to like bring my awareness back, because my mind would start wandering, or I'd start thinking, I'm never going to get this, I'm never going to get this, why am I even bothering? So yeah, so by breaking things down into manageable components, not focusing on too many things at the same time. And I will admit that this is difficult in the voice studio, and I think that's also difficult when we're practicing, because we're so interested in the outcome. I want to learn the song. I want to prepare for the performance, right? I want to impress my teacher. I want to feel good about my ability to do these things. And so a lot of my attention when I'm teaching is just trying to see, what is my student focusing on? Can they repeat back to me in their own words what they just experienced? Are they aware of where their awareness is, right? Because if you've ever had the experience of whether you're taking a lesson or teaching a lesson, and the teacher asks you to do something and you do something else, and then the teacher says, remember I asked you to do this other thing, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you do something else again, right? So what is that? We can be very, very scatterbrained. And I think that singing is a skill that helps to focus our awareness. I feel like it is an object of meditation. noticing these little distinctions going on that you can with your breathing, noticing rocking side to side. And then just like, if you can focus your awareness on like, well, when did I start doing that? And why am I doing that? Is it because I'm expressing something with it? Is it because I feel like I need to loosen something up that wants to tighten? Um, the clearer your awareness, the better you'll be able to do that. Now, the thing is, yes, some singers may have very poor awareness skills. And all you can do is accept that, meet them where they are. Um, Also, with ourselves, if we want to get something done, but we notice that I'm just not so focused today, um, beating myself up is not going to make me more focused. So, just staying within the parameters of what I can do, what I can focus on, and what I can manage, I think is going to be really, really important. Um, the problem for me as a voice teacher is that I used to think that, oh, I need to make sure that the student gets to the point where they can X, Y, and Z, or I need to make sure to cover all of this content in this lesson, because even though this lesson is really just like focusing in on upper body alignment, there's lots and lots of content to cover. And so I need to make sure that I say all of the words and cover all the things, and maybe not notice if my student is looking overwhelmed, because their capacity is their capacity, and everyone's capacity is different. Some people are going to be able to take in tons and tons of facts. Some people are going to be able to do tons and tons of repetition of an exercise and get a lot out of it. And some people are just going to get distracted by something inside their own head and need support for coming back to the exercise, or narrowing down the exercise further, or modifying the exercise more, because their capacity to learn is going to dictate what they're going to learn. And if I try to fight that, well, there's really no point.